You know that universal translator you always see in science fiction? The one that just instantly understands any language. Well, what if I told you something pretty close to that exists right now for your computer screen? Today, we're going to take a look at a tool that's trying to do exactly that.
So picture this. You're deep into a game. Maybe you're totally absorbed in a new digital comic, or you're trying to figure out a really important document. And then, bam, you hit a solid wall of text in a language you don't understand. It just pulls you right out of the moment, doesn't it? So frustrating.
Yeah, that's the exact moment of frustration I'm talking about. It could be some key dialogue in an imported game, the text inside a manga panel, or even a critical paragraph in a research paper. That language barrier can just stop you dead in your tracks. But what if you could just point your mouse at it and get an instant translation? Well, that is the promise of AION, an on-screen tool that also goes by the name Tap. It's really built for those of us who want to dive into all sorts of global content without, spending years learning a new language.
Now, AION, or Tap, isn't just another translator website where you have to copy and paste everything. Nuh-uh. This is a clever little application that runs right on your Windows desktop. Its secret sauce is something called Optical Character Recognition, or OCR, which lets it literally read text from anywhere on your screen, even if that text is part of an image. So, who is this actually for? Well, as you can see, the list is pretty diverse. We're talking gamers trying to follow a story, manga fans who just can't wait for the official translations, students digging through academic papers, and even professionals dealing with international documents. It's pretty much for anyone who values their time.
Okay, so how does it actually pull off this magic trick? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the core features that make this tool so powerful.
First things first, let's talk about range. Right out of the gate, this tool's character recognition and translation supports a whopping 14 different languages. That is a really impressive number to start with. And we're talking major languages here, like Korean, Japanese, and Chinese, right alongside English, German, and French. But it's not just about what it translates, it's also about how. You can grab a single word or a whole sentence, easily copy the result, and you can even customize the fonts and colors to make it easier to read. And this right here, this is the real killer feature. Because AION uses that OCR tech, it doesn't need text you can actually select and copy. It can read text that's embedded in game graphics, on scanned comic book pages, or inside protected PDFs. Basically, if you can see it on your screen, AION can try to read it.
Okay, so it sounds amazing, right? But, and this is a big but, it's really important to remember this app is still in early access. And that just means it's a work in progress. So let's be real about where it's at right now and, manage our expectations. This piece of user feedback really hits the nail on the head. It highlights two of the biggest limitations at the moment. First, it doesn't work in most full-screen applications, which, if you're a gamer, is a pretty big deal. Second, its OCR can really struggle with low-contrast text, like, say, colored fonts on a busy background. That can result in what the user perfectly described as alien language. And really, this is the classic early access trade-off. On the plus side, you get to play with cool new tech early, often for a lower price, all while supporting its development. But on the downside, you're pretty much a beta tester. You have to be prepared for some bugs and missing features, like that full screen support, and performance quirks like the OCR issues we just talked about.
So with all of that in mind, here's the big question. When you weigh the pros and the cons, is AION the right tool for you?
Here's the bottom line. If your main goal is translating text from windowed applications, and you're mostly dealing with high-contrast text, like in ebooks or standard documents, then even in its current state, this tool could be an absolute game-changer for your workflow.
Now, what's really great is that you don't have to guess. There's a fantastic, totally no-risk way to test it yourself. Because it's sold on Steam, you can take advantage of their refund policy. Just buy it, test it with your specific games and documents for under 2 hours, and if it doesn't work for you, you can get a full refund. It's essentially a free trial.
And one last pro tip, be patient. If you're interested but not in a huge rush, add it to your Steam wish list. AION has been discounted by as much as 50% during the major Steam sales, and at that price, it becomes a really compelling purchase.
So that's AION, a really promising and powerful tool that still has some real-world limitations to overcome. But as technology like this gets more and more accessible, it leaves us with a pretty exciting question. With language no longer a barrier, what new worlds of content are you going to unlock next?